Turning the palm towards the ground and trying to find a connection with the feet. Almost as if the center of our palm was connected directly with the sole of our feet. As we start to breathe, as we inhale, we want to gently pull the sheet up from the feet into the legs. As we exhale, we let it sink, almost as if it was going a little bit deeper into the ground. Inhale, allowing this sensation to rise through the legs. Exhale, letting it sink. As we inhale, we pull the energy from the earth through the legs into the abdomen. As we exhale, let it sink back into the until we can start to feel that the lower abdomen is starting to fill up as well. And feeling almost as if there's a wave coming up that allows your hand to start to float. And then the wave leaves, and your hand follows it downward. Until you can feel it reach about the height of your diaphragm. You can feel that the whole area under the diaphragm is filling it. Once you start to feel that sensation rising above the diaphragm, you can let your arm extend a little bit more. Keep following where this feeling rise up into your body with your allowing it to rise all the way up to the shoulders. So it starts to go slightly above through the neck, up into the head gently, and coming back down. So inhaling as you rise, exhaling as you sink. Following the rhythm of your own breathing. If your breath is a little shallow, you can move a little faster. If your breath is deep and slow, you can slow down your movement, follow the rhythm of your own breathing. And one more. Extending the chest. This time the arms rise just above the collarbone and the arms open to the side as we expand the rib cage. Exhale, bring the hands back and down. First, we have abdominal breathing, filling up the lower abdomen, then allowing the ribs to open more. Deeper inhale and gently exhaling, and our hands coming back and following the rhythm of your own breathing. If your breath is a little shorter, you can move faster. The importance is that you don't block your breathing, but that the breath gives you the speed at which you're doing your movement. More. Inhale as we go up and open. Exhale, coming back and waving the rainbow, hands rise all the way above, opening to your left as you shift your weight to the right, and exhaling as we go the other side. And up. Exhale. Down. Exhale. In and out. More. Inhale. Exhale. Separating the clouds, finishing up the exhales, we come back to the center, crossing the wrist. Inhale as we go up. Exhale down. In. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Sitting onto our legs, bringing our hands forward. Right hands come down. Inhale and expand towards the back. Exhale, pushing forward, bringing the palm above the other. Down. Exhale, push, bringing the top hand above the other one. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. One more each side. Rowing the boat, turning the palm facing down. Hands come down to the side. Rotating the palm facing out. Inhale as we go up. Palm face forward. Exhale, coming down. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale, going up. Exhale, down. Lifting the ball in front of the shoulder. Shifting the weights towards the left. Lifting the right arm up. Exhale, coming back to the center. Shifting the weight to the right. Lifting the left arm. Rising the heels. Coming back. And back to the center. So straightening the legs. Lifting the heels. Landing the heels. Bending the knees. Now as we go up, legs straight, heels up, heels down, bending the knee. Down, and exhale. In, out. One more each side. Inhale, exhale. In, out. Turning the body to look at the moon, keeping the weight through the center. Straightening the body as we're rotating all the way back. Exhale, coming back to the center, gently bending. Straightening the legs, rotating the body. Exhale, coming back. Inhale, going up. Exhale, down. More, inhale. Bringing the palm forward, facing up. Knees slightly bent. Inhale as we pull the hands on our side. Turning the right hand, twisting the waist and pushing. As we exhale. Palm up, inhale. Left hand rotate, turn the waist, push as we exhale. Out. One more. Turning the palm, exhale, push, and float up to eye level. Grabbing the cloud, inhale as we turn to the left. Switching hands, exhale as we go to the right. Changing, inhale. Changing, exhale. In, out. One more, inhale. Exhale. Gently shifting the weight to the right as we open the arm. Stepping with the left foot forward. Stretching the seat. Inhale, moving back. And looking at the sky. Exhale, moving forward. In. Out. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Extending the front leg so that the back heel lift. Inhale as we pull the wave in. Exhale, push the wave down and let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Dove, open and swing. Palm face each other. Inhale. Exhale. Palm faces up. Inhale, gently closing the fist. Rotating the right fist palm down. Exhale, punching. Gently. Bring the palm up. Inhale. Right hand palm down. Exhale. Palm up. Inhale. Left hand palm down. Exhale. Palm up. Inhale. Palm down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And one more with the left. Exhale. Hands together. Wild goose in flight. Inhaling as we rise. Exhale, coming down. So first straightening the legs. Then the heel lift. Landing the heels. Bending the knees. Inhale, straightening the legs. Lifting the heels. Exhale, landing and bending the knees. In and out. More, inhale. Exhale, shifting the weight to the right, bringing the hands together, turning like a flywheel. Inhale, palm face each other and face up, forward, sorry. Exhale, coming down. Coming back through the center, palm face each other. Then palm face forward, inhale, going up. Passing through the center. Exhale, coming down. bending the knees, coming back through the center. Now, exhale, keeping the weight on the left, changing direction. Inhale, going up. Exhale down. Passing through the center. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale. Keeping the weight on the right leg. Inhaling, bouncing the ball. Exhaling, bouncing the ball. In, out. In, out. One more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Palm facing up, fingers pointing at each other. As we inhale up to nose level. Exhale, gently pushing down, bending the knees into the ground. Inhale, rising gently. Exhale. In. Out. More inhale. This time keeping the legs straight. Exhale, gently pushing down into the feet, into the ground. Bring the palms together. Good. Right. Any questions?
I'd like to encourage the group just to maybe talk about your experience and how that felt for you. That's our first time going through the entire set kind of without any breaks. I think there's a completely different feeling to it than obviously when we're breaking it down into the smaller components.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
That was nice. Thank you. That was nice. I probably don't need to sit down just yet. I should stand up and get some more air. But that was nice. Thank you.
Great.
I kind of get the movements a bit better now as one flowing movement. So that was nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And happy New Year.
Same to you.
Same to you. It was
Yes.
very meditative.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Very
the
enjoyed it.
yeah, That's the idea. Once we get into the flow and we start to understand a little bit better how one movement move into the other, it gets a little bit more like a Taiji form where you just start and you go through the whole session. With the advantage of repeating each movement, so you still have time to kind of go deeper with each repetition as you go through. The main idea of repeating the movement is also so that we can get at least one or two good movements that we really feel deeper, especially at the beginning when we're still somewhat learning the form. First, you have to remember, okay, what's that movement again? What do I have to do? And then you do it one or two times, like, oh yeah, and then the breathing connects like this, and you kind of start to settle into it, so that by the fourth, fifth, and sixth repetition, you really feel and enjoy it. And so then you're ready and you move on to the next one. And then with practice, you can get into that state a lot faster from the first or second repetition of each movement. So it allows you to have a longer meditative effect. But it's normal at first that also our mind gets distracted more easily. So by giving it the opportunity to come back by simply repeating a movement, it becomes a habit of, okay, yeah, I can settle in now and not have to think about anything. And then you naturally get distracted by the end, so you move on to something else, and the mind gets, oh yeah, that's something different. So it starts to settle in a little bit more, and it keeps switching back and forth until we develop the ability to maintain a prolonged meditative state. So it helps us in both ways to kind of flow through all of that and have a longer meditative experience.
Thank you. It was great.
You're
Now if I
welcome.
can just remember all of it.
It will come with practice, and you have the recording, so.
Right.
With the
I like-
flow of the energy, with repeating, first you're trying to get the movements, and then as you mentioned, I felt more of the flow of the energy.
Mhm.
And so not only in my body, but also around, when we're walking, doing the ball, and we're feeling energy. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Beth.
I like the beginning and taking that longer, starting low and then building that up, because we're used to, immediately going into the flow. So starting really from the ground up, and also the change in the positioning of the hands. There's so much less resistance, at least for me, and I'm not out there flailing, I guess.
Mhm.
The other thing too is with the wheel. I think the way I was teaching, and I think we all were, we were just like spinning and going a little too fast, but the whole leaning really puts that, you're into the movement, you're the feeling, and you're feeling like a wheel, not like you're gonna get ready to twist your back. Yes, thank you. Very good. Wonderful.
My pleasure.
I really
Yeah,
enjoyed the aspects of the empty and full, the shifting of the weight from one leg to another. I think that really accentuates not only the movement, but the effect and the flow, because it's kind of like you're pouring a cup of water, from one cup to an empty cup, back and forth.
Yeah, both the way the body moves guides the movement of chi. And so the more we start to understand how, we can all do this simple exercise. You place one hand palm up in front of you and feel the sensation of the energy in your hand. It feels like there's something coming down and kind of heavy inside the palm. If you follow this feeling through your body, you'll have this sensation that there's something kind of coming into it as well. Now, without changing anything else, if you simply rotate just a little bit and bring your palm down, then you can feel a little bit more that buoyancy that comes. It's not something that really lifts you up, but there's a floatiness to it. It kind of almost like water that you're resting on top of and you're kind of floating on top of it. There's a different thickness to it as well, especially if you stay about solar plexus height. If your hand is higher, the feeling might be a little bit different, but about where the diaphragm is really where the shift between the two, even within the body, starts. So if we stay about at this level, then we can start to feel a little bit more that difference. And if you're sensitive enough, you might even feel the difference between the upper side of the hand and the lower side, and really kind of find that position where your hand is resting between the two. Then if we place our hand to the side, then the feeling is a little different. We start to go into the absorption and expansion of the qi on a more horizontal plane. So the feeling is more like an expansion, and at the same time, almost as if you're moving your hands through a fluid, like if you're moving your hand through water. So based on how our body is positioned as we move through the movement, the effect within the body will be different. This one is a great example of it. So for those of you who are standing, you can do it standing. If you're seated, you can do it seated as well. Seated might be a little easier because you won't have to worry about the legs position, but standing is fine. And here, you want to start to feel almost as if your hands are dipping into water. You can feel that the energy on the side of your body, especially when you're a little lower, feels a little thicker, particularly when we go just below the hip joint. And as our arms reach the side of our body, if we open from the shoulder, get this rotation to open and allow the palm to turn. So if you observe from my arm, everything is turning this way so that my thumb faces behind me. Then all of a sudden I have a very different sensation. It feels like the water is pushing my arm up. And there's this rising sensation that go all the way up until my palms face each other, which creates kind of a tube in the center of the body. From here, then I just have to slightly turn my palm forward and everything comes into the front of the body. So before we do that, let's go back, place the palm facing each other. Feel how this creates a kind of a tube, a sensation at the center of the body. Versus when we start to turn the palm forward, everything goes towards the front and it's almost pulling us forward to go back down. As we get lower and lower, we can feel that thickness of the qi changing. Let's do this one more time, opening the shoulders until our thumb face behind us. Inhaling as we allow the arm to rise. Feel that rising sensation through the body, and then turning the palm forward. On the exhale, allowing the hands to come down. Feeling the thickness of the air changing as we move around. Feeling here almost as if your hands are inside water and you're pushing on the water. Again, opening your shoulders. Inhale, feeling how your arms are lighter and lighter the higher you get. And then pull forward, and that thickness that's becoming heavier and heavier as you push down. bringing your hands to your side. And then here, without moving, just feeling as if you're about to do the movement, feeling the rising of the chi through the body. Once you feel it at the top of the head, visualizing turning your palm forward and letting the chi sink back down into your abdomen. As you inhale, almost as if you were about to do the movement but not moving, feeling the same rising through the body. And as you exhale, feeling how your palm would move if they were turning back forward and bringing your arms down. And the awareness back into the lower. So, could everybody feel that? Some of it, at least. Yeah. Good. So this is a bit of an introduction as to starting to realize that our movements, our physical movement and how we do them will affect the overall movement of the energy in our body, which is normal. If we want to move, then we better have everything working together in one direction so that we can do it. The body is smart. It works in the right ways. So as we play with these movements, we start to understand how everything work in the same direction. Not just the muscle, but the energy, the movement, the fluids. There's a lot of different system that allows us to function. We have the tendency to think of movement as being purely muscle related, but there's a lot more to it than just muscles. And that's what we're starting to realize. We're starting to feel also how the electrical system of the nervous system and its extension into the gasotransmitters allow the body to create a movement that feels effortless. We start to not think of a movement as being just one muscle, but feel how all the different muscle groups work together to make it easier, and how some muscle in our back is actually responsible for lifting our arms. When the shoulder blade is being pulled down by the lower trapezius, this acts a little bit like a pulley system. I have something grabbing my shoulder blade, which is attached to my humerus. So by pulling down here, I have this system that lifts because there's a rope that attaches all the way here. So when I pull my rope there, it lifts it. Therefore, I'm not just trying to use this little part, which is a lot smaller, to try to lift my arm, but I try to feel that connection down, which this one is also connected lower through the effect of the breathing. So as my spine fall into place because of the abdominal breathing, there's a chain connecting everything together that makes it lighter and lighter. So I don't expect you to necessarily have all these sensations right now, but gradually they'll start to appear by allowing the movements to show you how it is. That's one of the beauty of the work of Professor Lin when he created his system, is putting simple movement that when you see them at first, they look like, okay, yeah, everybody can just lift their arms up and down. There's nothing to it. But then realizing how much deeper this goes and how easy it can be to really connect our whole body and feel like we're floating. It becomes a very different way of moving. And the more we develop this awareness of this sensation of the chi, the more connected the body becomes when we move, and therefore everything becomes much more effortless.
Fabrice, I have a special request, which is going way back probably into August, but since there's some people who haven't been here before, would you mind going through the diaphragmatic breathing with the fingers, excuse me, with the
Yes.
hands on the sides like we did. I think we did that several months ago. I was wondering-
Yes.
I think we did that several months ago. I was wondering-
Yes, we did that at the beginning. Good. So for this, it's easier if we're seated. When we're standing, adjusting the pelvis is a little bit more difficult. So we'll do that seated if possible. And we want to first make sure that we're sitting on our sit bones. And so in order to do that, I'm just going to place myself sideways so you guys can see. We want to rock ourselves forward until we feel that the sit bones or the buttocks is lifted from the chair. Then gently bring it back until we can feel the moment our sit bones are in contact with the chair. And then go a little too far back until we feel that our sit bones are kind of rolling under and now we're slouching. Then bringing the pelvis back forward, feeling the moment where we're vertical, and then go a little too far again and feel how we're sticking our butt and starts to create tension in the lumbar area. Again, bringing back to the center, going a little too far, but not as much, just when we feel that we're starting to compress the front and round the back, then coming back. As we find the central spot, you'll feel that all of a sudden you have a deeper breath without any effort. It just happened when we find the right spot. Our body is telling us, hey, that's where you want to sit. Breathe deeper, you can now. So, finding this little spot and just observing how is your abdominal breathing right now. We're going to take our hands, thumbs open, and place them just above the iliac crest, the bigger bone that creates the pelvis. Our index finger will be about at the belly button height, opening the fingers so that the pinky go as close to the pubic bone as possible. And then simply putting a little bit of pressure so that we can feel how deep our abdominal breathing is. You want to see, can you at least feel the belly button moving? Can you feel the belly button or the pressure of the abdomen go a little lower? Maybe to the middle finger, the ring finger. You can feel the pressure all the way down to the pinky, that's even better. But just observe where you can feel it. And you feel it to the side as well. And maybe if you bring your thumb a little more back, can you feel it all the way to your back as well? Or does it seem to be mostly in the front? Right now, we're just observing how it is. Now, we're gonna roll the shoulder. What I want you to do is first bring your shoulders back, roll them up towards the ears, and then close them forward so that you feel compression on the upper chest and that your collarbones are sticking out. And from this position, breathe. You'll notice how that changes the abdominal breathing. Take one more breath this way. And then releasing your shoulders and trying to see if you can maintain the same depth into your abdomen as you're breathing. So who felt a difference with the shoulder up? Yeah? Yes. Good. So what this tells you is that you're not breathing fully into your abdomen normally. Rolling the shoulder forces us to close the upper lungs, so it forces the lower lungs to really open, so our diaphragm really want to move, and therefore we can feel the full amplitude of our abdominal breathing. So the idea, once you go back, if you feel that your breath is reduced a little bit, then you can do the same thing again. Bring the shoulder back, roll them up to your ears and close them forward. And then take a few breaths and notice how everything is moving in your abdomen. And then release your shoulder, let them come back down, but maintain that same depth of the abdominal breathing. If after 4, 5, 6 breaths you feel that you've lost a significant amount again, then one more, rolling the shoulder, keeping that deep breathing and noticing how it works. And you'll probably notice while we're here, keeping the shoulder this way, that it first fills up the front, and then it goes down to the perineum, and then it goes back up into the lumbar. So there's this rotation happening as we're breathing. So releasing the shoulders. Feeling how the abdominal breathing is moving. So abdominal breathing is the base of our breath. It counts for more than half our breathing volume. That's why it's really important to set that part first, so that then the rest of the lungs can breathe. The lungs have a volume of about 5.5 to 6 liters of air. Doesn't matter if you don't know what a liter is. It's just a question of the volume. And so to make the calculation simple, we'll think 5.5. That's the space that we have. With the diaphragmatic breathing, like we just felt, feeling the whole thing, we gain about 3 liters, three volume of breath. So the 2.5 are what's left above. So if the diaphragm doesn't work properly, we're starting with less than half our breath, usually. So settling this in will have a very important aspect. The movement of the diaphragm also is very important for digestion, because it squeezes all the organs that are below the diaphragm and it compresses them and releases them multiple times a minute. We usually breathe, when we have a slow and deep breath, somewhere around 6 breaths per minute. So it's like your diaphragm is massaging your organs 6 times every minute. And so add that for an hour, that 6 times 6, 120 times in 1 minute. That's in 1 hour. So that's a lot of pumping. So feeling this deep breath really helps, particularly the peristaltism action of the intestine, to be a lot easier. Instead of having your organ to kind of squeeze themselves to get everything to move, they get this huge wave coming from the diaphragm regularly as we're breathing. It also helps for the movement of blood and fluids. Every time the diaphragm pushes down, it increases the pressure in the abdomen, and at the same time, it decreases the pressure inside the chest, around the lungs and the heart, so that this extra pressure, which squeezes everything and open up here, so I have this squeeze and open, creates a vacuum that pulls the fluid back, and particularly the blood back towards the heart, so that then it can spread it into the lungs and get the oxygen. And on the reverse, as the diaphragm goes back up, as the ribs will close, then the pressure around the lungs and the heart helps the blood to go back into the body, and has the pressure here under releases and open, then it creates more space for those fluids to go back as well. So breathing is also important, not just to get in the oxygen, but to move the blood, to move the general fluids within the body, and to help with digestion. All the functioning of the organ, it helps the kidney as well, because the kidney are sitting in the back just below the diaphragm. So the diaphragm goes from the spine and goes around, and the kidneys are right here. So every time your diaphragm pushes down and allow it to go back up, it moves your kidney of about 3 to 4 centimeters, so about 2 inches. Every time you breathe, your kidneys go down about 2 inches and they go back up about 2 inches. So by the end of the day, you did about 1/4 of a mile for your kidneys throughout your day. So your kidney go up and down 1/4 of a mile a day in your body. If you breathe deeper, if your diaphragm doesn't breathe, then the kidney don't move as much. And because the kidneys are a filter that gets the blood up and have it go down, they don't have any muscle to squeeze them. That downward pressure and up, and which squeeze them a little bit and open them, allow that pumping action to facilitate the movement of blood through them, so they works better. So the breathing really have a strong effect on all the organs that are under it. That's why it's such a base concept in every tradition. It's very present in Taiji, Qigong, and in the Eastern tradition, but also in a lot of Western tradition, breathing has always been essential. It just kind of got forgotten a little bit more. So even just practicing deep abdominal breathing is essential for
Thank
health.
you, Fabrice.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I see we've been a little over, so.
Fabrice, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again next month. As always, a wonderful class. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks
you
so
much.
That's terrific.
Bye.
Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a great day, everyone.
It's so lovely to see the sunrise come up through your windows as well.
I told you he's up early for us. Very, very lucky.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Clayton.
Thanks, Clayton.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care, Mr. Sharper.
All right.
So long. Happy New Year's. I haven't seen.
Cooper.